getting ready to come.
And hidden riches of secret places, that thou mayest know that I am the Lord.
Last words, brother.
Shalom, ma.
All right.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
All right.
All right. Shabbat shalom.
Khan, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.
Pray that you all are having a delightful Shabbat.
Khan, appreciate you already putting ones in the
All right, Israel. Hey, we got a nice lesson for you guys again, continuing this 7-year war. So hey, it's not going away no time soon. As long as we got breath in us, we're gonna continue this 7-year war. And guess what? All praises to the other brothers and the faithful sisters who are jumping on board with us, and who are getting on the harlotry, getting on the baby mama boys and the sips, and you know what I'm saying? Got to call that stuff out. That's what the scriptures tell us to do, and we're not going to stop no matter what. Because remember, Israel, we're only as strong as our weakest link.
That's right.
And you're not going to find nowhere in the scripture where the Most High, when he delivered us from slavery, he only delivered a certain amount of Israelites. No, look, either we're in captivity together or we're not in captivity together. That's just the way it works, Israel. Either we're going to be in captivity together or we're going to be delivered together. Can't have it no other way. And if y'all think that, or saying that the Most High deals with mass punishment, you're exactly right. It is mass punishment because we are a unit. We are one unit. So if part of the unit is sick, the whole unit is sick. All right. And so we're gonna have to live through this, and we're gonna be here. Look, we're gonna be here for a minute. Unfortunately, many of our people, we're gonna go to the graves, and guess what? We got to train this next generation to take up the mantle. Israel. Too many of our people just being too wicked, and they want deliverance without obedience. You know, and that's why this awakening, this so-called awakening, the only people who are really truly like so-called claiming to waking up are harlots. And I hate to say it that way. It just seems like the only people that claim to be waking is harlots because they're waking up for the wrong reason. It's just to continue in their wickedness and everything. Because nobody's keeping the laws. You know, people are just excited about the fact that being woke. Oh, I'm an Israelite. Okay, so what? What are you doing? Where's your works behind that? Where are your fringes? You know what I'm saying? You keeping a shadow? Did you stop eating pork? What? Are you following the dietary laws that's listed out in Leviticus 11? Hell no. We don't care about that stuff. And I guarantee you, if me and Brother Aton was talking about all kinds of foolishness and we were just doing all kinds of gossip and stuff like that, I bet you we probably have like 1 million views by now. Probably 1 million subscribers. Because our people like foolishness. They don't like the truth. You know? All right, a Watchman for Eve. This is what the subject is about. And just like it sounds, Israel, you know, we're going to be covering some vital information in the scriptures. We're going to cover some things that it's going to make you really, really humble yourselves. You know, as far as the roles for the brothers, and as far as the roles for the sisters. And again, this is never to come down on you, sisters or the brothers, but this is to help edify so that we can both see our roles as the Most High has designed in the Torah, because we cannot deviate from that. Once we deviate from that, Israel, everything is out of whack. Everything is out of order. All right. So, brother, before I go to Proverbs, do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah. Well, just basically break it down the title, right? A Watchman for Eve, right? That means that, you know, they say that the sisters, right? They're the most downtrodden of all the people, right? You know what I'm saying? They need to be protected the most, right? And then, you know, being a watchman for the sisters, right? Being a watchman for Eve, right? It's going to be our duty to watch over you guys and to keep you, right? You know, right and out of the straits, right? The same way that Adam should have looked over Eve in the garden before she had, you know, bit that fruit, right? Before she had bit that fruit and was bamboozled by the serpent. All right.
That's right. And for the same reason, Brother Aton just said what he said, sisters, I want to show you some backup precepts to back that up, so that y'all know who the roles belong to. So let's go ahead and turn the Torah to Proverbs, Book of Proverbs, and let's look at chapter 8 and verse 4. Give you a few seconds to get there. Y'all know y'all should already have the word with it. And if someone can go ahead and drop those scriptures in the comment box as well too, so that that way y'all can write them down and everything, and then you can during the Shabbat you can go reminisce over the scriptures, everything that we went over. All right, so it says, "Unto you, O men, I call. My voice is to the women." Is that what it says, brother?
No, it says.
It says,
voice
"My voice
is
to the sons of man."
This is important, right? And the reason why this is important is because, right, the brothers nowadays, right, the mothers that we got going on nowadays is coming from a lot of single mother homes and things of that nature. They don't understand that it's up to them to lead, right? You got to realize that the voice, you know what I'm saying, that the Most High voice is not to your mom, right? For her to tell you what's going on in the home and for her to raise you up, right? The voice is to the men, right? The voice of the Most High is calling to the men for them to be able to lead the nation, right? So if you brothers are turning to women and trying to get their understanding and on how to move and try to raise a nation, right? That's not what's going to happen, because the voice they can't hear the Lord like that, right? The voice of the Lord is going to go to the men, right? And for them to rise up and then to lead the nation, right? And for the women to follow under them. That's just the way it is. And that's why, right, we have to keep a watchman over Eve. She was literally born to be a follower, period. She was never born to be a leader, because there was no leadership to be had in that particular time, right? Go ahead, Doc.
And if you really want to get technical when it comes to Eve, she was really the first servant. You can argue it down.
Righteous servant, right?
She was the first servant to her man, because it was man who was created first. And this is one thing I always challenge women when they start talking about men are equal. I said, okay, when the Most High created Adam and Eve, who was here first? All right, who was created first? All right, good. You agreed that was Adam. I says, who was dominion given to? Was it given to Eve or was it given to Adam? Exactly. Israel, the Most High does not change. And you see how the heathens, how they come along and they try to twist everything up by pushing feminism out. And now you got She-Panther, you got She-Hulk, you got all this feminine stuff, Woman King, to implant subliminal messages in the minds of our people that the women are equal to the men. You know what I'm saying? You get a group of women out there and go play against the Eagles out there. They'll get their butts killed. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not an equal field, Israel. It is not. All right, so let's go to Ezekiel chapter 34. I'm gonna turn it back over to Aton after that. Ezekiel chapter 34, and we're gonna look at verse 31. So Ezekiel 34. And let's look at verse 31, Israel. All right, it says, "And ye my flock, the flock of my pasture, are men." All right, so there we go again. "And I am your Elohim," says Adonai. Now, when you look out all through the Torah, all right, men has always led. They have always been the priest of the home. They have always been the provider. They've always been the ones who hold all the inheritance. So if a woman wanted to leave, she left what she came in with, and that was nothing. All right, so inheritance did not go to the women, but the widows were taken care of. But the inheritance always went through normally the firstborn, of course, the other sons as well, though. But the inheritance always went to the men.
Now there are some situations where the inheritance will go to the woman. Let's say, for example, like you see Mary in the scriptures, right? The inheritance went to Mary because they had no sons, right? Mary was the only, and they only had a daughter, right? You know what I'm saying? For that time, right? So if you have a situation going on like that, let's say, for example, if a Hebrew man and a Hebrew woman, they were married and they had a child, and the only child they had was a daughter, that their inheritance would continue on with the daughter, right? And then of course be passed to the husband if she decided to get married.
Yeah, and that's only in rare cases though, Israel. But collectively, the men, and you're not going to find one verse in the scriptures where a woman made offerings for anyone either, because that was always that belonged to the Levites. That was the priest. But then you have women trying to lead out in pastoring and stuff like that, trying to lead on the pulpit, thinking that they're preachers and stuff, and they're gonna be in for a rude awakening, because that's not the way the Most High designed it. All right, brother.
All right, Israel. We're gonna go to I'm gonna pull up some scriptures. Let's go to Genesis 3. Oh, hold up. Matter of fact, let me share mine.
And again, y'all, appreciate y'all putting those scriptures down in the comment box. That'll help us to continue to flow easily.
All right, Yashala. We're gonna get Genesis 3, and let's just start it. One. All right. So, all right, here we go. All right. Now we all know what happened in the beginning, right? We had a situation where Eve had to be left alone, right? Adam, he wasn't watching over his most prized possession that the Most High had given him, because, as we know, it says in Corinthians that the woman was made for the man, right? Not the other way around. Mm-hmm. So, of course, that means that the Most High had charged man with being a watchman over Eve, right? That's just your natural duty, right? So, as we see in the scriptures, now, if you think about it, right, now, because Adam didn't pay attention to Eve, or, he didn't really keep up with her, and because of the woman's nature, they're easily to be convinced of things, right? As we see in the world today, we have over 85% of all commercials and advertisement is geared towards women, so forth and so on. We have it, everything that we have from back in the day is still being proven every day today. Mm-hmm. Right. So we're going to Genesis 3, and we're going to put 16, right? It says, unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception, right? In sorrow thou shalt give forth children, right? Now, this part is kind of interesting, because if you look at the rest of the earth, right, and all the animals that we have in the rest of the earth, most of the time they just drop babies, right? They don't even have they're not screaming in pain, they're not really doing anything. They just drop 4, 5, 6, 7 babies, like it's nothing, right? So, I mean, we have to realize that, we're just like all the other creatures on the earth, minus we being highly intelligent, right? So we're the height of the Most High's creation, as far as intelligence wise, right? And we see that, this is true, right? The only being on the earth that has a problem with being it, and this is because we wasn't watching over Eve as we should have, right? And she was there talking to the serpent and got bamboozled. And it says that and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. This is indicative of everything that we see, right? No matter what they say in our community, I'm strong, black, and I don't need no man, or this, that, and the third. It is innately born into every woman to really want a man. It doesn't matter if they're in their young and they're 20, they think they're doing their own thing, and they want to essentially, I guess, have the same experiences that a man does, which is ridiculous. Just even saying that. But at the same time, we have to see that the desire will be towards the husband. Even if they're 35, 40, I know if you look on YouTube now, you see all these, videos of these older women talking about man ain't crap, but they're still, got some man on the side, some side dude. They got these dudes, right? They always got a man in their life, even though they say they don't need no man. But the scriptures say the reason being is because they're always going to desire one. Thy desire is going to be towards thy husband. These Even the women, if you get, older women, they look back and they regret that they don't have a husband, right? I don't see, the most time I see sisters at their most happiest is right when they're, they're older and they're married, right? They're married, they have children, and they've already been through the beginning stages of marriage, getting to know one another, the rough patches, this, that, and the third. But at the end of the day, we see that a strong desire is going to be to the husband, right? The woman is going to do a lot, even in her old age, 60s, 70s, especially in the old times, right? The sisters, man, they'll be getting up, and, be doing stuff for their husband because they love that man, right? It's not the same as we have it today, right? So I just wanted to show you just from the beginning. I mean, it doesn't matter. Even heathen women have the same proclivity, right? Even the heathen women, they're all the desires going to be towards their husband. But this is from the beginning, right? This is the original design that the Most High has set forth. All right.
I find it very interesting how it's designed for a woman to have to bear a child in their early ages, because when collectively, when you look at women's menstrual cycle and everything, they stop really they really stop having children. It's like around after 30. I mean, they can have them in their 30s, but the later the years are, the more issues in childbearing is going to have. But the way the Most High designed the man was he could carrying on his seed throughout, and even in his 90s, and still have a healthy baby. Of course, it would have to be with a younger woman, but he would still have a healthy baby, because that's the way the Most High designed it and everything. So that's why when you see in this generation, a lot of our women, talking about, well, I don't need no man, and they realize they try to wait until their 40s and they talking about they want to have kids and stuff like that. It's a lot of this. It's going to be hard to do that. And like I said, it's possible in some cases, but the child is not going to be as healthy as if she was having childbearing in her younger years, like in her 20s. Yep.
We're at the book of 1 Samuel chapter 1, and I wanted to go over a few scriptures in Samuel chapter 1 and chapter 2. Right. One of my favorite sisters in the scriptures is named Hannah. Right. Powerful. Right. Hannah has a spirit like no other. Right. This is one of my favorite sisters in the scriptures. Right. So she was one of two wives to an Ephraimite named Zuph. Right. So I'm gonna go ahead and read that and just bring that out real quick in these first two scriptures. And then we're going to read a little bit about her, I guess, up into verse 5, I guess it sounds. No, we'll put, okay, I guess we'll read it at verse 6. Okay, right. It says, now there was a certain man of Ramathai Moseim, right, Siphoseim, Zophim, right, of Mount Ephraim, and his name was Elkanah, the son of Jeraham, right, the son of Elihu, the son of Tohu, the son of Zuph, and Ephraite, and Ephrathite, Salakia. And he had two wives, right? And he had two wives. I want to make that sure. I want to make that important. Even though, today it should be obvious that things like this is natural, right? Of course, not every man has more than one woman or anything like that. But some men, they have the discipline and the capability and the righteousness to be able to watch over Eve more than one of them, right? Because we know we have more women than men, especially in our nation, right? I mean, in some other nations that may not be so, but in the nation of Israel, we do have that, right? Even though we've killed off 20 million of our population, right, over the years through Margaret Sanger and damn abortions and crap. All right, and he had two wives. The name of one was Hannah, right, and the name of the other was Peninnah. And Peninnah had children, but Hannah had no children, right? I want y'all to understand, right? Children are the fruit of the body, right? You know what I'm saying? Whenever it talks about sisters, women, even Paul, when he talks about, women shall be saved through their childbirth, right? And how they raise their children and then to keep the commandments, things of that nature. You got to realize that, having children are important. It's an important thing. It's not something that you go to the sperm bank for because you want to freeze your eggs, right? It's not something that the Most High has put forth that you can attain unnaturally, right? The Most High, he wants it to be raised with a man and a wife, right? You're the Most High. He designed it that every woman receive a husband, right? And every man receive a wife. Well, those that are not specially called to do the work of the Lord, so they can't, even to the fact that they might not even have time for one wife, even though you are a bishop of the church, like it says in Corinthians, that you can have one wife and not two, right? Because you're doing work of the Lord. And if you're doing work of the Lord and things of that nature, let's say, for example, like Brother Daniel or myself, we're doing works of the Lord, so we wouldn't be fit to have more than one wife, all right? So it says, and this man went up to the city yearly to worship it, to sacrifice unto the Lord of hosts in Shiloh. And like Brother Daniel was saying in the beginning, he was breaking it down, right? That that the men were always the ones that's going up to sacrifice to the host of the Lord, right? It was never the woman, right? Because that was a responsibility of the man, right? To go ahead and get the sheep, the cattle, whatever they were sacrificing, the bullocks, right? To pay for the sins of that family, right? Because once that man became the head of the family, right, he is responsible for all that is under him, right? And that's something that we don't realize today, right? That the head of the family is responsible, right, for all the ones that are underneath him, right? So it depends on how well his leadership is polished, right? How much wisdom does he have dealing with the scriptures? Is he able to lead, right? And it says, and the two sons, Eli and Hophni, and Phinehas, the priest of the Lord, were there. And when the time that Elkanah offered and gave Peninnah his wife and all her sons and her daughters portions, unto Hannah he gave a worthy portion, for he loved Hannah, but the Lord had shut up her womb. And her adversary also provoked her sore to make her fret, because the Lord had shut up her womb. Right, so you can see that she's just going through a little situation here. Like, it's wild because it seems like that that the Lord will test us, right? The Lord will test us as a people, sisters, right? You know what I'm saying? The Lord will test you is to remain holy, right, and separate, and always to be what? To be reverence toward the Most High, right? In everything that you do, right? You don't obey your husband because your husband says obey him, right? That's not the reason why you do that, right? The reason why you obey your husband is because the Most High said for you to do it, right? That's in the scriptures, right? We see that written in black and white, right? The reason why you let a man rule over you is because the Most High said it, and it's also a natural proclivity. It's not that a man is, purposely and forcefully exerting dominance over you. That's his natural position to him, given by the Lord. His position is to lead, and the sister's position is to follow.
I want to bring up something right quick while it's in my mind. When you brought up earlier about the responsibility of being on the man. Now, Israel, I want y'all to really look at something here. So, going back to the beginning in the garden, when Eve was tempted, and she fell into that temptation. When did it become official as a punishment? Now, I want you to really think about this, because even when Eve was tempted and she fell into temptation, even though she knew what she did was wrong, but she perceived to even entice her husband. But when did it become official as a punishment? It wasn't until Adam took part. Why? Because that was a test for Adam to see that, okay, I'm going to see if he is going to give in to this woman I created for him, or if he's going to obey me. And unfortunately, Adam ended up giving in to the woman, which that was the official moment, because had Adam would have stood strong, the Most High could have easily created another woman, and just destroyed her or whatever, a banishment or however that happened. But it didn't become official until Adam took the part, because again, like Brother Eitan was saying, it is because the Most High had designed the man. He gave dominion to the man and not the woman. So that must understand that completely. Understand when it became official. So,
brothers, it's got to behoove you to be a strong leader, right? We can't be taking any shortcuts, right? You got to get it in every day, right? From sun up to sundown, right? We only got a limited time on this earth, right? And you know what? To be honest with you, right, we're even lucky that the Most High put us on this earth,
Mm-hmm.
right? We're put here, and the Most High, He decided that, while we're here on the earth, that He's going to go ahead and look out and make our people the chosen people, right? So the only thing we have to do is repent and turn back to Him, and really, and really, that's not a hard thing,
No.
right? For us to be able to, lead the nation, and that means lead our women like we're supposed to be doing.
And Israel, why do you think we go so hard? It's not because we just want to be down on the women, but you got to understand we have a solemn and awesome responsibility before Yahweh. All right, and that's as men we have to hold not only our brothers accountable, but we have to hold the women accountable. Now let's just say that let's just say that me and brother A-Time we started going easy and everything, and we just started letting the woman just get away with anything. Don't say anything. Don't correct the woman. Don't do anything. We will be held responsible. It is our responsibility to cry loud and spare not, and show Israel their trespass. Because that's the problem. You got too many damn simps out here. They'll get with a woman. I'm talking about brothers that so-called awaken in the faith. They'll get with these harlots that got multiple kids by different dudes because they feel sorry for the children. Well, he seems like a good kid. I'll go ahead and get with this woman. You see what I'm saying? That doesn't cut it, Israel. We cannot cut corners for anyone. For the brothers or the sisters, we cannot cut corners. And this is why me and brother A-Time go hard in the paint with this, because it's no time to be trying to be soft on our women or the brothers. We got to give it to you straight, so that that harshness, that tough love, as the old men used to say, it's just that tough love. But it's that tough love that's going to help our people make it through these times.
Like tough love back in the days, right? Let's say that old Nehemiah spirit, right, man? He was running around, what I'm saying, man, he'll whoop you down, right? He'll snatch your beard off, what I'm saying, kick you in the ass a little bit, beat you up, put you in a headlock, you know what I mean? Just run up, punch you in the stomach if you're not keeping the commandments, right? Brothers back in those days, it was a game, right? Israel understood the situation that they were in and understood that the Most High Yahweh is our God, and we just can't be doing whatever the hell we want to do, right? So right now we're doing whatever the hell we want to do, and then we as a people, we're looking stupid, wondering why we're getting treated like this. Why are we getting shot down on the streets? Why are our own brothers? Why are we like you got these police, right? These 5 brothers, and I guess I think you got one heathen up in there too, but he didn't get charged. Where's the heathen at? You got the brothers that got charged, right? But the heathen that was you got one heathen that was involved, he's nowhere to be seen, right? You got to realize that this place is not our rest. We're not going to get the same kinds of privileges, right? And things like that in this nation. This is not our nation, right? Period, right? This is not our land. So in doing so, brothers, man, we got to stand up. We got to learn how to lead, right? We have to be able to lead correctly, right? Because if we don't lead, like we correctly as we're supposed to, it's a surefire thing that the smartest woman of all, right, the most intelligent, the very firstborn of all women that was on the earth was Eve, and she got tricked by a serpent, right? She got tricked by a talking animal in the garden, right? And she was bamboozled by that. So, brothers, if y'all are not leading correctly, what do you think? The same thing that's happening to these sisters out here now, look what they're doing. They're left alone. They don't have Adam to watch over them. So what are they doing?
And you got to understand, Israel, wickedness is like a virus too. So I'm gonna give you an example. You have women, you have kids having babies, and they're having babies by multiple men, having different children, and they have different daddies and stuff. What kind of influence you think that's going to have? They're going to keep repeating that cycle over and over because that's what they see. And guess what? The next generation is going to keep repeating it until it's corrected. So our people get, and I know the welfare thing is not helping at all, because that's pretty much keeping our people doing that. Because as long as they're getting that free check and the government is their sugar daddy, these women, they're not worried about it. But if you cut that stuff off immediately, I guarantee you there will be a hard awakening like we've never seen before, a reformation like we've never seen before. Yeah, it's going to hurt. A lot of them will die out, and a lot of them, but I guarantee you the younger generation of women, they won't make that mistake. They'll get their stuff together.
Right.
Because as long as we keep empowering our people to do this stuff, and as long as the heathens keep empowering our people to be wicked, they're going to continue to be wicked. And that's the hard part, right? That's why this gospel is, it's not an easy walk, because you have to. It's like we technically have to go against the grain, because the heathens are doing a hell of a job by keeping our people in wickedness. And so now we fighting, like brothers like me and Aton, we're fighting against that grain. It's like we're fighting up an upstream river, because the heathens are just pushing out all kinds of wickedness to our people, feminism, welfare, all this, black, strong, independent, all that stuff. They just pushing it out on our people, lesbianism, all that stuff.
But they're first attacking it with the women, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's because it's just like Adam and Eve, right? Eve was left by herself out there, right? And then what happened, right? She got tricked, into doing something that was absolutely abhorrent, that essentially killed all of mankind, period, right? That's because she was out there by herself. You weren't paying attention. And now we got the same thing going on today. Fatherless homes. We got Eve out there by herself. And the heathen is the serpent in the garden. And what they're doing, they're taking full advantage of the situations. Now, this is why we need to keep a watchful eye of Eve. You just can't just let the stuff slide, right? You just can't do any of that stuff, because you know what they're doing? These heathen, they are purposely letting these women that are unled by any men in the Hebrew nation, right? They're letting these women raise up the seeds, raise up the children, right? And then when you raise up the children, they're raising up what? Weak children. Weak men. How are you going to work all day, right? You're going to work all day, right? Then when you're going to be tired as hell when you get home, how are you going to watch the children? How are you going to say, where's your time that you're going to have set aside for you to actually teach your children? You're not doing that. You're letting the heathen teach the children. You're paying for daycare. You're sending them to schools, after school program. You're doing what you need to do. And then you're still trying to get your mommy time in, because there's a plenty harlots in the club with children running around acting foolishness, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, like, we need sisters like Hannah, right? Let me bring out this prayer like I said, Hannah's my favorite sister in the scriptures, right? So, she understood what it was, right? Even though that she was barren, right? She always kept her femininity, always kept cool, understand, and she had proper leadership, right? The man that she the man that she had, it was proper leadership, right? This is him right here, Mr. Zoof. All right, let's read this prayer. Oh man, all right. And Hannah prayed, Salakia, right? This is the book of 1 Samuel chapter 2, and we're going to start at verse 1. And Hannah prayed and said, my heart rejoiceth in the Lord. Mine horn is exalted in the Lord. My mouth is enlarged over mine enemies, because I have rejoiced in thy salvation. There is none holy as the Lord. Now remember, Hannah was still barren at this time, right? Her life was not going good, because the gift was into children, right? That's what the gift was. These women out here, right? They were happy, and they were doing because they had children. They had husbands and they had children. That was a gift. But the gift was not harlotry, a child without a husband. That was not a gift, right? Now, right? But Hannah, what's she doing, right? In her femininity, in her righteousness, right? A woman that feared the Lord first, because that's why she would obey her husband. Just like any of these sisters out here, you don't obey your husband because he's making you do it. You obey your husband because the Lord said do it, right? And it says, there is none holy as the Lord, for there is none beside thee. Neither is there any rock like our God. Talk no more exceedingly proud, right? It says, talk no more so exceedingly proud. Let not arrogancy come out of your mouth, for the Lord is a God of knowledge, and by him actions are weighed. Right? I want to pay attention to that particular scripture right there, verse 3. Right? This woman, smart, very smart, right? And she's saying this against another woman. This prayer was against another woman, right? That was so that was trying to make fun of her because she couldn't have children, right? And things of that nature. It says what? Talk no more exceedingly proud. Our community, right? The sisters in our community, they talk exceedingly proud. Even the brothers talk exceedingly proud. About what? Oh well, I got I'm wicked as hell. You know what I'm saying? They don't boast about righteousness, right? they boast about wickedness, right? They don't boast about leadership, right? They boast about following and doing things of that nature, right? We need, and we have sisters, right? They talk exceedingly proud. They say that what? They don't need a man. I can get their own bag. And if you come to the table, you're going to have to do this and do that. The Most High don't get down with that. It said, let not arrogancy come out of your mouth. But that's all we hear amongst our people. Arrogant people. We got arrogant women and we got arrogant men. But more so these days, we got the arrogancy of the woman is overshadowing that of the man, which that's a damn shame, right? We're on the low end of the totem pole, the lowest of the totem pole. Not only that, but the sisters are the lowest to get married, the most undesirable on the earth. And they still have the nerve to be arrogant and exceedingly proud. That's ridiculous. The men are doing what? They're trying to keep a watchful eye over you. And they're trying to instruct you on what not to do, right? Hey, stop being so strong. It's okay. It's okay. Humble down. It is okay to follow. It's okay to put down, you know what I'm saying, put down that heavy sack of rocks that you got over your back because you're carrying it for no damn reason. Just because the heathen has sold you a dream. It says, for the Lord is a God of knowledge, and by him actions are weighed. And by him actions are weighed. Every time you open your legs for a man that's not your husband, your actions are weighed. Every time you buck up and stand up against a brother, your actions are weighed, right? Every time a brother wants to act effeminate and you don't want to stand up and be a leader, when your woman is coming down on you and you don't want to stand the hell up, right? Your actions are being weighed, brother. The Most High, he's looking for soldiers in the army. He's not looking for weak, nanny-pamby follower boys that don't want to do the will of the Most High, right? The only person that you should be following is the Most High, period. Keeping the commandments. That's what we need to be doing. If we're doing it as a whole, as men, we don't need to follow each other, right? Only thing we need to do is just follow the Most High, because we'll be all doing the same thing. And the bows of the mighty men are broken, that they that stumbled are girded with strength. Khan, right? And we already see that today, right? The bows of the mighty men are broken, and they that stumbled are girded with strength, right? They that were full have hired out themselves for bread, and they that were hungry ceased. So that the barren hath borne 7, and she that hath many children is waxed feeble. The Lord killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. The Lord maketh poor and maketh rich. He bringeth low and lifteth up. When are we going to realize this is a people, right? He raised up the poor out of the dust and lifted up the beggar from the dunghill and set them among the princes, and to make them inherit the throne of the glory. For the pillars of the earth are the Lord's, and he set the world upon them. He will keep the feet of his saints, and the wicked shall be silent in darkness, for by strength shall no man prevail. The adversaries of the Lord shall be broken to pieces. Out of hell shall he thunder upon them. The Lord shall judge the ends of the earth. He shall give strength unto his king and exalt the horn of his anointed. So the adversaries of the Lord shall be broken to pieces. Right.
You want to know a really wicked woman? Y'all know the story of Jezebel. Go read that. But I want to show you something right quick. I want to show you what the name Jezebel actually means.
Bring that out.
I want to share this with y'all because y'all need to see this. All right, so check this out. Jezebel, Bel exalts. Bel is husband to or on chest. And see, Jezebel, and again, y'all can go through and just read, but you know, that's a prime example of a wicked woman who wants to be in control of everything, who wants to lead, and she was leading her own husband. Ahab with his weak self, and he was the one that was destroyed on his deathbed. Elijah told him to repent, and he didn't want to repent. And guess what? The Most High struck him down. So, I mean, that's a prime example here. Let me show you some stuff right quick. Let's just look at a couple of things here. All right. Oh, let me go back. Sorry about that. I just pulled up a couple of verses.
Start at 31.
Yep.
Because see, that's the main thing that the that sisters that you know, even though a brother, this is what they follow nowadays, right?
First Kings,
Baal.
First Kings 16:31. It says, and it came to pass as if it had been a light thing for him to walk in the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat. And he took to wife Jezebel, the daughter of Ethbaal, king of the Zodians, and went and served Baal and worshipped him. And he
Zidonians, those are Africans, right? The Zidonians are Africans, right? I mean, like, they're not even our people. And he's already going off.
And he reared up in the altar for Baal in the house of Baal, which he had built in Samaria. That's crazy stuff, y'all. and just the wickedness, you know, of our people and everything. You know, she ended up dying with Elijah threw out the window. She tried to paint her face up. She tried to paint her face up and everything, and Elijah saw her. She tried to hide herself. I mean, not Elijah, but Jehu, King Jehu, because he was coming through cleaning the house. And he threw her butt out the window, head first. Had the eunuchs throw her out the window. And then he rode on it with his horse and everything, went up, ate, came back down. She was like, well, she is the daughter of a king, so we should have a proper burial. By the time he came back down, with nothing but her hands and head and feet.
The worship of Baal, that has to do with today. We have like a lot of this dealing with these dances, right, and these and a lot of feminism, right? It comes from the worship of Baal, right? Because if you see through there, right, that had a lot of that you know, sexual freedom and all of that stuff. When was getting in trouble.
Let's put that in right quick.
Right, and we was doing a lot of sexual freedom and things of that nature. When we was messing with the Moabites, we ended up the Most High sent a sexual transmitted disease through the camp to be killing folks, right? Because we wouldn't stop, you know, fornicating with the, I'm gonna say it's not fornicating, but sleeping with the Moabites, right? You know what I'm saying? Because the Lord had forbade us to be with that nation of people.
Mm-hmm. Now, I wish this gave a more definite, because Baal is the rarest. It's all kinds of stuff, and it also deals with running through the fires and all that kind of stuff. And when they were doing that, child sacrifices,
yeah,
all that stuff is part of Baal. Idol worship is part of Baal. Just like when our people are celebrating the holidays and everything, that's Baal worship. All of it is Baal worship because it's anti, you know, it's against the Most High. The word the Most High said in the word that thou shalt not have any graven images. Thou shalt not bow down to them.
I want to show you guys something, right?
In Exodus chapter 20.
Now, y'all have seen this. You guys have seen Baal a lot. Now, you see this little, you see this picture right here, right? This little same thing with the little a dog on a bull head, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, right? Baal, the golden calf, right? What does it look like? A calf, right? That's the same thing that these folks were doing, probably the same God that they were trying to worship to down in Egypt when they first came out of here. Baal has been along for, you know what I'm saying, has been here for a minute, right? This, you know what I'm saying, this wickedness has been here for a good minute, right? All say dates back to the golden calf. Baal.
You know, and that's why when we talk about a Watchman for Eve and everything, you know, when we leave our women unattended and everything, all kind of stuff's going to happen. And you know, it's just, and we already know, Israel, that a woman was not meant to lead in anything. The only thing that she was meant to lead in is taking care of the home, you know, and supporting her husband, you know, like the Most High designed it for. Now, when you give a woman power, that's a dangerous thing, because what happens is going to unbalance her, and that's why a lot of these brothers I have to talk to and counsel. Do not move in with a woman. You do not want to move in with a woman. Why? Because when you do that, you're giving her power, because then she's going to exercise power over you. It's going to be unbalanced. You know, you can't. That's wickedness. That's wickedness, and not only are you causing that woman to come out of herself and everything, and you doing something that you shouldn't be doing because you're a man.
Con.
Right?
Now, another thing I wanted to bring up that's dealing with this false god, this demon right here, right? It says a Canaanite Phoenician god, right? This is an old, the same thing, right? They're making the Canaan, saying just like they were making the golden calf. The Canaanite folks, same thing, right? Part of Egypt. So it says a Phoenician god of fertility and weather. Fertility. What does that have to do with? Right? That don't have nothing. Well, I was talking about, thinking that you're going to have babies and stuff. What is that? You know what I'm saying? So what are we doing now? What are we doing now as a people? All these sexual liberation songs that we got going on, and Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion and all this wickedness. You know what I'm saying? It's all dealing with the same thing. They don't have nothing that, man, you think these wickedness has to do with a husband and a wife? No. This is talking about going out, having sex with a lot of men and you know what I'm saying, see if you can't have you a baby. Get you a baby daddy, get on child support, and do all kinds of other stuff instead of doing what? Listening to what the man is trying to tell you. Hey, sister, hey, you probably don't need to be drinking that much. You probably need to stay home. You probably don't need to be at the club. You probably need to do a lot of things that will save you down the road, because the road that we're on is just a certain trip. It's just a short trip. And after that, it's going to be judgment. And then after that, then we get the rainbow road of eternity. You get to just ride it for eternity.
You know what the book said? The book in James, it says that your life is like I think it's James 5, but it says your life is like a vapor. It's like a vapor when you compare it. The Most High, in the Word, it says that 1,000 years is like a day to the Most High. So every 1,000 years that we go through, it's like a day to the Most High. You got to realize that concept of time is not the same as with the Most High and anything. So are people doing all this wickedness? They think that because nothing's happening to them right then and there, they're not being struck down right then and there. They think that they can continue in their wickedness, but it's not going to be worth it, because to be banished away for eternity. That is not a good thing, Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And being a watchman for Eve, we know, and y'all seen this verse, and we go over this all the time. We talk about this. We know the roles of the brothers and then the sisters. In 1 Corinthians 11:3, it says, "But I would have you know that the head of every man is Mashiach, and the head of the woman is the what? Is the man." It didn't say anything about the woman being her own head. Right? It says, "And the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Mashiach is Yahweh." It's very clear.
We're gonna make sure to bring that out every week, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Make sure to bring that out every week.
Got to, because it's super clear, Israel. And what's the new norm today right now? What's the new norm? The new norm for a lot of our women: be single, you don't need no man. Splurge, get out there, shake your ass, do all kinds of stuff, twerk, everything, enjoy life. That's the new norm. While in the meantime, you got the Pookies and the Ray Rays, the simps, I like to call them. They screwing everything they can move, walk, and crawl.
You know what I would like to do though too, right? I do want to say I appreciate the sisters that are on every week listening, right? For the sisters that are out there that are really making a true effort to repent and keep the commandments, and that are out there trying to witness to other sisters, right? That's a blessing. I'm gonna go ahead and put in a link on the comment board if a brother or a sister wants to come on for a testimony, just to tell what's going on in the time that really that could pertain to the lesson on how you met a brother maybe, or a brother that led you in the right direction or gave you some good advice to send you to a way of righteousness, or to send you to a way of success. We'll be more than welcome to hear some of those stories, all right? Because
I know some of your sisters out there. I'm not gonna call no names, but you know who you are. And I know that you've been working with a lot of the young women. We appreciate that too. And that's something that's a call that the Most High has led you to. So continue to talk to these young women. They're gonna need to hear it. They're not gonna like it at first. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna resist. They're gonna buck at you and everything. They're gonna call you an old head, whatever. But you keep doing what you're doing and keep putting that message out to these young women, so they can see. We're not expecting to get everybody, but if we can reach at least two or three, keep them from the lake of fire, by the grace of the Most High, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But we already know for the most part our people are hitting in a very dangerous area, and when it comes to this truth, Israel, it's like our people are just not in tune. But everybody wants to get ready for the holidays and football and all that kind of stuff, and everybody's mind is just not in the right place. And everything.
The leadership is weak, right? The leadership is weak in Israel. We have a few, we got a few strong brothers, right? We got a few strong brothers, but so we need the rest of you brothers, right? The strong brothers. You're gonna have to. I mean, like, man, listen, brother, we got a lot of heavy lifting to do, right? This life ain't gonna be easy, all right? If you work hard, this life, right, it's just like in the scriptures, right? We can guarantee you that the next life is gonna be easy if you make it. We just got to work hard this time. Some days, every day we gotta go hard in the paint until we get the nation on one accord. We crying and sighing as a whole, right? About how these heathen are just doing us bad. Until, man, we're gonna have a situation, sisters. Until y'all can, we need y'all to put down the sword, right? It's not up for y'all. Like, we don't need y'all fighting. We need y'all, right where the scriptures say that y'all should be in the home, raising up the children. We don't need y'all working, being single mothers out here, wasting all your time with working and chasing the bag while the government is raising your children to be more simps, suckers, and coons, right? Because that's the only thing they're doing. You think that the government is doing anything to help our children out? No, they want you to be single mothers.
If
right?
anything, they're gonna enhance it to make sure that it keeps on perpetuating itself.
That's why it behooves you to listen, right? Just like Eve, she didn't want to listen, right? Adam, he told her, right? But instead of just telling her, we understand now that we must keep a watchful eye over our sisters, right? Because we see that the enemy is strongly against them, right? It's strongly against them and is strongly using them to bring down our nation as a whole, right? So for you brothers out there that are strong, right? For you brothers out there that are wise in the truth, you got your loins girded up, you got your boots on tight, your staff in your hand, your shofar ready to blow, your holy days, all the commandments and things of that nature, and you walk in righteousness and truth, man, brothers, we need y'all to stand up. All right, we really have to stand up. We got to start leading out here, right? Doing the best you can, no matter your job, responsibility. I mean, your jobs, no matter where you go at. Like on my job, they call me Brother Blood, right? You know what I'm saying? Because they already know I'm all about the blood of our people. So it's got to be the same thing. No matter where you go at, they should know that you are a Israelite. You keep the laws, statutes, and commandments, and that you need to bring the light to your people, right? If not, man, we're going to stay in darkness.
Yep, that's right. I mean, it's simple, Israel. It's not rocket scientists, And we're not going to continue to beat a dead horse, but at the same time, we're gonna bring hard truth to you, so that people can see the light. Because look, there's no other way around it. It's all about the laws, and it's about obedience to the Most High. Why? Because He created us, and this we made for. We're the ones out of water. But like, we're so far out of water, it's not even funny. And it's gonna take a disaster. Now we know that eventually we're gonna go to war. All right, war is coming as well. That's inevitable. And the scripture says that there's gonna be wars, rumors of wars.
Right.
If we survive wars, we survive World War I, World War II, and guess what? We'll survive whatever, if they call it World War III. We're just in the beginning stages. That even the toes haven't even begun to form yet. And when this whole New World Order thing comes out, that could be the next 100 years in the making. Israel. We don't know, so that's why we have to work, or we can work right now. And I got it. Our people are tired. Our people want to be delivered. I got that. Hell, you want to be delivered too. But at the same time, we know that we have to keep doing this work until the day that we can't do it no more. And we can't always focus on. In Israel, you got to practice. You got to put these laws into works. The scripture says, rehearse the righteous acts. You know, and there's too many of our people just sitting up thinking that, okay, well, I'm only focused on being delivered, but yet they don't want to obey the Most High. They want to keep the commandments. You know, that's not hard at
Mhm.
all. Name me
Uh,
name me one commandment that's hard to keep, other than the ones that we don't have to, which is the law of sacrifice, because Mashiach became the sacrifice.
that's right.
Outside of that, which law can you not keep? You know what I'm saying? I hear people say laws can't be kept. Which law are you talking about that can't be
Uh,
kept? You know what I'm saying? You really gotta challenge yourself and everything, and test the spirits of these brothers and sisters that are trying to tell you that laws can't be kept. You know, challenge them. Tell me which laws that cannot be kept in the scriptures.
God.
If the laws cannot be kept, then the Most High would have never given us the laws. You know, never. So, yep, that's right. Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
God. We have any questions in the comment? I mean, this lesson wasn't too long tonight. It's just a little short, little something.
Mhm.
Any questions or comments about the because I know like most of you sisters, y'all understand that the leadership of your husband is paramount, and that you very well should listen as we see the state of the things and now without zero male influence into the home, right? It's put our nation into shambles, right? It went from the 1940s and the early 30s to highly married, successful, even was about to come through and do the damn thing on what was that, Black Wall Street and things of that nature. But soon, we the government sold our sisters the Kool-Aid, and instead of start listening to their men, they started listening to the serpent in the garden.
Yep.
And
They became
so
weaponized.
the downfall has begun.
Yep. They became weaponized. And again, that's nothing against you all sisters, but it's just like it's unfortunate that they attack the sisters. You don't think about it. It's just like it's just like how Eve was attacked in the garden.
Mm.
Couldn't what I'm saying? Let's just say Adam was there. That wouldn't have been able to happen to Adam, because Adam he already knew what the deal was. But it's like ever from the beginning, Satan always will attack the woman, and then in this time again, look who he's attacking again: the woman. Because it's easy to weaponize the woman against the man. Because if you can weaponize the woman against the man, then you can really throw things off like that. I mean, think about that concept. Satan attacked the woman, and then again, the woman is being attacked again by the heathen.
And you got to realize too, right? These the way that they do it is always the same, right? It's the same way that Satan attacked Eve. Is the same way that the women are getting attacked today. Right? It's the same thing. Yep. You got to think about it. If they went up to Eve and said, "What? Oh, you're not equal. You're not equal to God. Mm-hmm. You want to be equal, but you want to be on the same footing as God, and you want to be equal to God. You can eat this fruit off the tree. Then you too can be like God. You can be just as equal." You see what I'm saying? Like it's just crazy how she wanted to skip right past Adam and be like God. And see, that's the problem of the woman, right? No matter what, she feels that she knows for a fact that the Most High made her into a following position, but that rubs her the wrong way. She don't like it, and I understand. I mean, who wants to be born a follower? I understand the fight. I understand the fight at hand, but at the same time, right? Naturally, your body is not as strong as a man.
No.
Right? It's not. I mean, you're made to follow. There is no way. I mean, all shape and form as that's the way the Most High made you guys, and no amount of feeling or emotion is going to change that and make you guys into a leader. And as soon as we fall into our rightful positions, this thing is going to start being easier and easier.
That's right. It's funny because in the garden, it's like, oh, you can be like God, and then all of a sudden the heathens come along. Oh, you can be like man.
Mm-hmm. It's the same thing. It's the exact same situation, man. These heathens are selling it good, man. And then they're the women, especially. I mean, like imagine coming out of slavery, getting your ass whooped down, beat down, back beat in, teeth knocked out, force fed, doing all this kind of stuff, just to come into and then still gnawing on that same old wicked fruit that Eve was gnawing on in the garden. You just can't. You just can't put it down. You like the fruit of equality of things that you're just not equal. Period. I mean, like The way that the Most High has designed men and women are different, right? And then for the woman to even try to aspire to be like God, her maker in the first place, is just the utmost of pride and arrogancy, right? Of pride and arrogancy of that woman to try something like that. Well, I want to be like God too. I want to be like God and have God's abilities to know what good and evil is. Are you kidding me right now? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you look at all the animals on the earth, right? You know, the animals can kill each other, they bite and do all this other stuff. Do you think they actually understand what they are doing? Right? Do you think they understand the gravity of it? Right? There's no rules for them, right? Because the animals don't know the rules, they can't commit sin. Right? That's just essentially what happened when Eve took part of the fruit and gave it to Adam. Right? At first, you had no idea that she was naked, or no idea that telling a lie was bad, or no idea that any of that stuff had meant anything, because you had no idea of the truth. You had no idea of the concept of good and evil, right? But because you did not heed to the instruction of the man, right, and he took his eye off you for a second, you were in the garden, right, and you fell to trickery. You fell to trickery because you wanted to do what? You wanted to be like God. How was that possible? You wanted to bite into the fruit, and then all of a sudden, what did that do? That all of a sudden opened your eyes up to what was good and what was bad. You knew the law. You understood that this was something that, you know what, I shouldn't be doing that. Now, these animals out here, right, they don't understand the stuff they're doing. They have no idea about it because they don't have any laws for that. They have the regular straight, they know they got the, they have the regular things that just to keep going with their race. They know they have to, eat and multiply, you know what I'm saying, or be fruitful and multiply. They do that on their own, naturally, right? They don't have any problems having babies. They just bust babies out, right? All things, you know what I'm saying, all things are just naturally done, how it is in the earth. But all of a sudden, when you get to our race, the woman of our race has always been a problem from the beginning. Right. The woman of our species has been a problem from the beginning, more so in the chosen race, because we have had the same chosen seed from Eve all the way on down, being led by the Most High. Right. The most stubborn of all folks is going to be the sister, of course, because she's going to be the closest to Eve. So, of course, she's want to be like the man's going to give you more problems. Right. But see, that's the cost of getting the kingdom. The kingdom is not easy. The kingdom is not easy to get. In the beginning it was, when there was no sin and Eve actually obeyed, because two men were telling her to. The Most High is a man, right? And so is Adam. It's all men, right? There are no women in heaven, period. There's no such thing as women angels or anything of that nature. I challenge any of you to
the only purpose the woman was created was to carry the seed of man.
God. Or the angels wouldn't have came down and tried to sleep with women if there are women in heaven.
You gotta understand, once we live forever, why would there need to be a need of a woman?
Yeah, it would. You know what I'm saying? Like all that breasts useless. You don't need that. You don't have babies in the kingdom. All the angels are a set number. They don't have that. You know what I'm saying? All womb useless. You know what I'm saying? Things that are there. I'm just saying, like, once you get a spiritual body, you will no longer have those things. Those things will be a thing of the past, because they are absolutely serve no purpose in that body. And we know that what God is a God of order, right?
And one thing I hate is like these Hotep brothers talking about the black woman is God. That stuff just burns me up. Man, y'all gonna be destroyed for that mess.
It's called a seed for a reason in the scriptures, right? A seed, right? If you put the seed in the ground, that's what's going to. It's the seed that grows, right? When you have the earth that fertilizes it, right? The man has the seed, right? The woman has the egg and it's fertilized, right? And it continues into life. But that seed is alive from the very beginning.
And it's amazing how it works, because the man of course can't fit into the seed, but then that seed produces a man or a child, and it's just amazing how that seed process works. Just like an oak tree, a big huge oak tree is huge, but it's a very, very small seed. And when that thing sprouts, it's like, how in the world did this oak tree fit into that little seed?
Con.
You
Like
know?
the intelligence of a sperm, right? Of a seed is the same thing. You know, you gotta beat out hundreds of millions of other ones,
Yeah.
right? And then finally get to the egg, and then you got to make your way to the egg, and then you still know what to do. There's consciousness
Hmm.
there, right? You know, it's consciousness there, right? For it to be able to do all of that stuff, right? You know what I'm saying? It's not just, you know, doing it haphazardly, you know what I'm saying, miraculously, right? This is a true miracle of the Most High,
Hmm.
right? These, you know what I'm saying, this is where life begins at. It's alive. It's alive from the beginning. It
Yeah.
comes and it fertilizes the seed.
And the
It's
whole purpose
alive from the
was,
start.
yeah, and the whole purpose was when the Most High says, "Be fruitful and multiply," you know, and replenish the earth. You know, we get to this point. It was never supposed to be like it is what we're dealing with now in this current time.
Mm.
All right, and this is why destruction is going to have to come. And yeah, it's going to get ugly, Israel. But these things have to be corrected. And you know, the Most High has a way of auto correcting something and getting things back into line. It's going to happen.
Con.
It's gonna happen. And yeah, it ain't gonna be a pleasant thing. So you know, Israel, just keep praying and keep keeping these laws with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. And you know, most of all, make sure you sharing these videos with your family members. All right, make sure you share them with your family members that don't know the truth, so they can come on here and they can start, you know, learning some things. You know, smash that like button and share these videos, y'all, with your family members. Right? You got family members that you're trying to reach. You don't even got to try to explain that to them. Just send them one of our videos. You know, send them one of our lessons,
Con.
and let the lesson do the talking. You know what I'm saying?
Con.
You don't got to try to explain nothing to them.
Pick a light one first, right? You know what I'm saying? Ease them into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't pick one that we've been that me and brother Daniel you know, we going hard that night. You know what I'm saying? Pick a light one
Well,
we can ease into.
I think most of the videos are pretty hardcore, so I don't think they're gonna have much of a choice. But it's in a good light though. It's righteousness. So
That's right.
you know, it can't offend. You know. So Israel.
Got any questions, Israel? If not, brother Daniel, myself, we've had a long day today.
I'm about to light this menorah and put on the frankincense and myrrh, and it's gonna be on. I'm about to have this whole place smoking, boy.
I'm gonna be passed out before it's over in 30 minutes.
Yeah. I got that grade AA frankincense and myrrh. That stuff is straight from Africa.
Oh, Con, I still got some of that.
Off the tree of stuff. That's the kind when you put it on the, you know, when you put on that burner, you just hear a sizzle, and it takes about almost 30 minutes just for that thing to burn.
Con,
You know, it was good.
That's the same one I got.
Yep, same one.
Yeah, Con, that's right. Yeah, I know
like pure white. You know,
that's some good
stuff.
stuff.
That's when you know that the frankincense and myrrh is pure.
Yeah,
If it's like a dirty white, that's no good.
All right, Israel. Shabbat Shalom.
All Israel, we'll see you next time. And again, we'll be putting out the calendar soon, right before the Purim begins. Right, so, and then we'll make sure we'll get that out for you. Almost done with it. Just got to review it and everything, and we will be good to go.
Get ready for Passover too, right? That's probably the next major thing we got coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So all y'all try to get that day scheduled off, or you know, do what y'all need to do. We got Passover coming up, okay, Israel? It's on the same day every year, right? Saturday, sundown.
Yep, always. All right, Israel. Well, hey, Shabbat Shalom and stay strong.
Shabbat Shalom and stay strong.